Hi guys, on today's video there is this particular thing that I want to talk about, and this thing is very important when we are journaling. Sometimes when we are journaling trades, we usually touch many aspects in the trades that are important, where you write out the strategy you used in the trade and check whether it's your normal strategy that you used, and where you write out what you followed, the confluences, and what makes you to take the trade, and where you write out your entry point and all that. So there is this thing that we usually miss, like we usually take as take whenever we are journaling. See, whether it's a win or loss, mostly on a loss trade, when we are journaling, we don't have to concentrate on maybe we place a trade and there was a news and price has to take you out, and we are just writing into your journal that is because of the news that makes you to lose, which is very wrong, without even considering other things that may affect the trade, that may be the cause of the trade not going in your favor. See, and how do you do this in the right way? So the important thing to do in this aspect is knowing your confluences. And when I say you know your confluences, you saw those confluences and maybe you did not see one. So first of all, whenever you are journaling, you have to reflect back to your confluences, reflect back to those things that you will see before you take a trade. And when you have confluences, I dare you that I know that you must have invalidations, what may invalidate your trades, what you may see even when you see all those confluences, and what you may see and you feel like not taking a trade, like some people not seeing a double top in their entry zone, so they consider it invalid and leave the trade. So all those things, you have looked at all those things, and you will see that sometimes most of your losing trade, one confluence was missing, and most of the times you usually know that those confluences are missing, but we do say that okay, let's just take a trade as we see much of those confluences. But having this analogy is very wrong, because you are the one that created those confluences, and before you created those confluences, it's based on your journal, it's based on your progress, it's based on what has worked for you and what has not worked for you. That's why you created those confluences, and before you create that confluence, I believe that you have seen it work for you for many times. That's why you consider seeing it, or that's why you consider making it an edge. So for you to see it play out most times in your winning trades, that means that it usually occurs in the market. So why not you wait to see that full confluence before you enter? Why not wait? So you found that most times this is what makes a losing streak mostly. You know that you must see liquidity sweep, but you take that trade without liquidity sweep because there is a close inducement in the pile. So what am I trying to say in essence? What I'm trying to say in essence is this: if you are fighting in repeating what works for you, also fight in eliminating what doesn't work for you. If you're fighting repeating what works, fight for eliminating what doesn't work. And how do you know what doesn't work for you? Through journaling. And how do you journal? In order to, when you are reviewing, to know that this particular thing doesn't work for you, taking the steps in your journaling. What do I mean by taking steps? Taking steps that I mean is journaling what works, journaling what doesn't work, journaling the strategy that you used in a setup, journaling the confluences that showed in your setup, in a particular setup that you took, and journaling what makes the trade to work most. And after, when you are reflecting back to that journal, you should have to check those confluences, those your confluences, to know if all of them appear in that trade. And if all of them appears in that trade and eventually it does not go in your direction, you know that it's just uncertainty and maybe something else. You look for something else that happens, and if there is nothing much, then you know that it's happened. But most times you see that those confluences that you choose, you do not follow it, and most times your rules, you do not follow your rules, your plans before the trade and all that. So to cut your losing trades, or to cut your losses short, you must have to see your confluences, those things that you say that you must see it before you enter. See all of them, make sure you see all of them before entering a trade. And you find out that when you are trying to see all of them, when you take only trade that you see those confluences, you will not over trade. And when you don't over trade is when you pick a higher probability trades, and that will help you in your strategy.